Welcome back to Leeds Lately, and in today's video we're going to be talking a little bit about Junior Firpo, and we're just going to have a bit of a chat about his kind of renaissance and his ability to come back into the team and actually perform quite well for us. And over the last couple of years I've seen a lot of people, you know, your football Twitter people, anonymous with no profile picture and stuff, and they all seem to love Junior Firpo for some reason. I don't know if that's ironic or whether it was just because he's an underdog story and they want him to come back and be better. But he, over the last couple of years, as you'll all know as Leeds fans, has been really pretty poor in the Premier League, getting twisted up by every winger he came up against, really. And it's not even necessarily his defensive abilities that let him down so much. It's more his positioning and stuff. And maybe we're going to have a little bit of a conversation about why that's happened and why he might be performing better now. So first of all, let's talk about why that happened. Mainly for me, I think it's his defensive positioning. And I think he's struggled over the past couple of years with his defensive positioning, mainly because when he signed for Barcelona from Real Betis, he was a left wing back. And playing left wing back is a lot different to playing in a back four as a left back. And you kind of, I think, going on a tangent slightly, that's a recruitment issue. Again, obviously we've got rid of Victor Orta now, but bringing in somebody who was essentially a left wing back who could do the attacking side of the game well, but really wasn't actually expected too much to be a defender, bringing him straight into a left back position in a Bielsa side, it was going to be killer. Whatever way you look at it, it was going to absolutely kill us. And not to mention his injury record as well. Sorry, I just hit the desk then. Not to mention his injury record as well. And obviously, over the last couple of years, he's been blighted by injuries constantly. But I do think that a lot of the issues that he's had on the pitch were due to the fact that, A, he's a left wing back. He didn't really know the role. So over the last couple of years, he's been learning to play left back whilst being sort of stopped constantly by those injuries. And also because, yes, he played in a Bielsa team, which, no criticism to Bielsa, it's amazing, but it might not be the best in the time period that Firpo was being here. It might not have been the best time to come in and play as a left back, really, given the kind of situation that we were in and the way that we started then to really, really struggle under Bielsa at that time. And it's going to absolutely kill you, isn't it? And playing in that position where you have to be high up the pitch all the time, you have to be overlapping, you have to be getting to the byline and crossing the ball back across the box. Then you also have to be back to defend as well. And given he wasn't that fit, it's always going to be an issue. So, excuses aside, Junior Firpo is a professional footballer and he should know defensively how to position himself, how to position his body, how to lean a certain way or face somebody up a certain way to push them in the direction that you want to push them. He seemed not to be able to do that at times. He seemed to be late back. He always seemed to be getting himself yellow cards and giving away free kicks in dangerous areas because I think he panicked and just brought somebody down. So his Premier League time overall, honestly, to sum it up, was a disaster. It really was a disaster after he'd been brought in as supposedly a proper left back after Alioski left. So let's put that to one side and let's talk about the Championship this season. Now, in the Championship this season, I think Junior Firpo has actually been very good and made very, very few mistakes. Overall, his positives is he's been going forward well. He's been attacking well. He's been linking up with Somerville or whoever else is going to play down that side, and he's been overlapping, underlapping, providing runs, passes. His actual set-piece delivery has been good. This is something that he's improved on massively, even though his attacking was kind of his best thing when we were in the Premier League. His attacking has still improved massively since we've been in the Championship. Defensively, I think he's improved a great deal as well. I think his positioning is better. I think he's learning this FARCA system, which is not a better system for him than Bielsa, say, but maybe a calmer system. What you would say is a more pragmatic system for him to sit in and play at that left back role, and his ability to fit into that has gone hand in hand with our success for this season. Obviously he was injured for a while, but since he's come back in, I think he's actually been doing really, really well. Now, of course, all of that is caveated by the fact that this is a step down, and this is why the title says good or good enough, because is he good as in, is he a Premier League quality, lower Premier League quality fullback, and could he do a good job for us when we get promoted, if we get promoted? Could he do that, or is he just good enough because we're in the Championship and he's good enough for the Championship? Because obviously it's a level down. When you're coming up against Championship wingers, it makes a massive difference to whether you're coming up against Phil Foden, Mo Salah, Riyad Mahrez at the time, players where he would just get completely twisted up by them. There is a massive, massive difference in quality. I also think that it helps that people like Somerville on his side and the wingers in our system are expected to track back and help with that defensive responsibility. But overall, I think he has been a lot better with his positioning and stuff as well, which obviously is something that doesn't really matter what division you're in. If your positioning is good, then your positioning is good, and it's always going to give you that little extra edge, that little bit of help that you need when you are trying to defend against wingers. And so overall, I think. I don't want to say it's too early to tell with Junior Firpo. From what I've seen in the Premier League, I think he's good enough is the answer to this question. I think he's good enough for the Championship. He's good enough for this Leeds side in the Championship. But I do certainly want to give him his credit because he's come in after his injury and learnt from Farke, and he's more sensible, he's more pragmatic, he makes better runs, he knows when to stay back, he knows when to make tackles. I've seen him make a lot of good tackles. He still does some crazy things, like when he tried to do that scissor kick against Plymouth in the FA Cup replay, and he booted somebody in the back. He still does some crazy things like that, but then it wouldn't be Junior Firpo if he didn't. But overall, let's just say that I think he's done really well, and I want to give him credit for doing as well as he has to come back into this Championship side and look like a decent option at left back. Of course, Sam Byram is probably your first choice, but when I've seen Junior Firpo, when he's taken over the mantle from Byram when Byram's been injured or had to sit on the bench, I think that Junior Firpo has done a very good job, so I want to give him his credit for that. I think at the moment my prediction is that he is good enough for the Championship and probably needs to be a player who you might offload in the summer or have maybe as a backup, but certainly not a first-team player if we go up to the Premier League. And I think that's as far as it takes him. I think what he needs really for his own career from a personal point of view for him is probably to go back to Spain and play in a mid-table La Liga side who play three at the back, and he can play wing back and play that to his heart's content and probably have a good rest of his career there. I genuinely think that's probably what's best for him at the moment. He's having a good time at Leeds and he's playing well, so I've got to give him his credit for that. But ultimately, do I think Firpo is this player that some people are making him out to be, like he's had this redemption and he's amazing now? No, I don't, but I do think he's certainly had an improvement, and I'm happy that he has, because it's added an extra element to our team in that left back position. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Junior Firpo. Really, I was trying to think of what video I wanted to do, and I was trying to think about individual players and who's playing well at the moment, and I thought maybe Junior Firpo is one that maybe is going under the radar a little bit because of his history with Leeds, of course, which is fair, and the fact that it's not necessarily a glamorous player to talk about, but I wanted to talk about it nonetheless. So if you enjoyed this video and this style of video, just talking about a footballer's current form or a Leeds player's current form or anything, let me know down below and let me know your thoughts on Junior Firpo, whether you agree with me, whether you disagree with me. And yeah, thanks for watching Leeds Lately, and I'll see you in the next one.